Hello everyone and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator. I decided to delete my save game and start a brand new one for you. I want you to come along with me on this journey. Now, as you see, I have nothing in my inventory. I only have $4,000. I am level 1. I have nothing in my parking garage. I just started this. Let's go over here to this toolbox and you can see I haven't unlocked anything yet. Brand new episode. So we are going to do a whole career here. We're going to open up our own thing. We're going to start off with a brake job, I think. That's a nice, easy thing. Make a little bit of money and get us going here. All right, let's check and see what we need. We need 2 pads and 2 calipers. So let's go ahead and move this over to the lift. Now this is going to be a lot different than it was when I did the thing before, because then I was fully powered up. This is just starting out. I don't have any of the stuff that I had before. I don't have my table to repair. I don't have the paint shop. I don't have the extra space. I don't have any of it. I don't have anything. We are starting bare bones here. I can't even pull an engine out of the car, I don't think, because I don't even see that thing. So we're going to have to earn all of that stuff as we go. So you're going to get to see a lot more work on customer cars, because I'm not going to be able to just go buy a dozen cars from the junkyard and from barns and fix them up. I'm going to have to work my way up to that. So let's start taking this apart. I can already see the caliper on this is bad. So that's one of the things we have to do. So let's get that off of there. Go ahead and pull the pad as well. Because the pad doesn't look great, but it might not be terrible. So let's see. Yeah, the pad is fine. It's not great, but it's not bad enough for me to replace yet. The caliper, I am going to have to put a new caliper on. So that is one of the things out of the way. Let's put this wheel back on. Now we needed 2 calipers and 2 pads replaced. So we got one of the calipers done. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to take off each one of these wheels and check the brakes, pads, and the calipers. Now as you can see here, one of the calipers is now green checked. That means that it is done. So if you're playing this game, that's how you know when you've done it or not. I don't think that one was bad. It didn't look bad from the outside. I didn't even take the tire off. I might have to go back around and do that, but it didn't look like bad. Because you can tell, see how the caliper on this is really, really rusted? When something is that rusted where you can't see any of the actual metal and it's just rust, you know that's bad. Now see, there's a lot of rust on this brake disc here, but that brake disc is fine. It's not bad enough to replace yet. Now if I was rebuilding the car myself, these pads were bad, so I got to replace those. If I was restoring this car to sell, I would take that off and everything would be 100%. Because you get the most value that way. The caliper was also bad. So all we're missing now is one set of pads and we will be done with this car. But when you're doing a customer car, you only replace the stuff that needs replaced. Like I'm not going to go through here and fix the body work and all that kind of stuff on this car because there's no point. I'm not being paid to do that. I'm only being paid to switch out 2 pairs of brake pads and 2 calipers. So I'm hoping that this will be the other pad that's bad here. It looks pretty damn bad. So let's see if I'm right or if I have to run around to the other side. Nope, I am good. So that is job done. Let's get this all put back together and get it back to the customer so we can get paid. Because I got to have that money. As we earn money and earn more abilities, so to speak, I got to earn another slot. I got to earn the ability to pull the engine out. I got to get my repair table up. There's a lot I got to get. But once we get all that and get enough money built up, we will start going to the junkyard and picking out junk cars and restoring them as well for some major cash. But for right now, it is going to be, that is job done right there. So we made a little over $100, $114 off that job. It's mainly going to be customer cars and the missions. This is another brake job here So we'll go ahead and take that. And then there's always a mission car where you have to go through and figure out what's wrong with it for the customer and fix it. And that gives you a lot more experience and everything. So we'll be doing those too. But in the beginning, I want to just kind of try to get some levels built up. So I'm going to be doing a lot of like brake jobs and stuff like that, I think. I'll try to do one mission car per episode. That way it's not all just brakes and stuff like that, but there's a lot of stuff you can do. Alright, let's get what we need here. We got pads and the brake disc and a caliper. Alright, I'm going to sell off all of the stuff that I already have from the last car that was bad, so that I don't make a mistake and think that I'm replacing something when I don't need to. Now you notice I opened a case here. You get cases for doing customer cars and for mission cars as well. And it will give you parts. And sometimes it'll give you like barn maps where it'll lead you to old barns where you can find cars in. It's pretty cool. So what I usually do with this stuff is sell it, because usually it's pretty specialized and it only goes on certain cars. So I don't like to keep all of that and clutter up my warehouse. So I just go ahead and sell it for cash, because cash is always good. Alright, so we needed a brake pad, a caliper, and a brake disc. So this looks like the brake disc is pretty bad. I don't know for sure if it's all the way bad where I have to replace it, but it certainly looks like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the caliper off, we're going to take the brake pad off, we're going to take the brake disc off. I always call these rotors. I never called them brake discs, but on the game they're called brake discs. They're probably actually brake discs is what they're really called. But I always just call them rotors. And this is actually a brake disc ventilated, which means it has the holes. So that was all good. Nothing was wrong with that. So we're going to put all that back together. It's kind of crazy that it can look that bad and still be fine. But that's what it said, so I'm not going to argue. See, the brake disc on this one is fine. Caliper is fine. Brake pad might not be, so we're going to go ahead and take the tire off and check the pad. But the caliper and the brake disc are okay. I mean, they're not great. They're rusty, and they look like crap. But they're not in the red yet, so we don't have to worry about... Why did I take the brake disc off? I knew that wasn't bad. I don't know why I took that off. That was dumb. Alright, brake pads were bad here. And we got to put the caliper back on. So I think all we need now is to find the caliper that is bad, right? And the brake disc, too, I think. Yeah, because the other one looked like it was completely gone, but it wasn't. So we still have to replace one brake disc, and we have to replace one caliper. This brake disc is bad. I can already tell you. Look at that thing. That is horrible. Now, the pads will be okay, and the... Well, that one looks horrible, too. I think the other one is worse, though. But this caliper looks really bad. So let me go ahead and get this done, and I'll run back over there and do the brake disc. Although that brake disc looks terrible, too. I'm not sure. They both look bad. We'll take them off and we'll see. I'm going to gamble here. And I'm going to say the other brake disc is the one that I needed to replace, because it looked worse than this one. We went ahead and put the caliper on here. And we're going to go back to the other one and do the brake disc, I think. And that should be job done. Let's see. Yeah, we just need the one brake disc. So I think that's on the rear tire back here. Let me check, though. Because I don't want to go all the way back over there if it's this one, and then I feel stupid and I got to come back. But I think this one's okay. It looks okay, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm going back to the rear. To hell with it. If I'm wrong, I'll have to come back and I'll eat crow, but I'm pretty sure this is the brake disc that's bad. Because doesn't this look worse than that one? That one had little speckles of metal showing through. This one is completely rusted out. Look at that. So I'm pretty sure that's the bad one. In all honesty, I would, if I was actually doing this job, I would replace both. Because they both look like crap. Yeah, this is the one that was bad. They both look terrible. So they should both honestly be replaced. But the customer is not going to want that front wheel replaced, the front brake disc, because it's not all the way in the red yet. Now, I could just do it anyway, but I might not get paid for it. So if I'm not going to get paid for it, I'm not going to do it. I might feel generous later on, but I don't have barely any money or anything yet. Yep, that is job done. All right, get that thing out of here. All right, we are up to 5,300 and something. And we got another brake job here. We'll go ahead and knock this out. And then we'll probably, after this, we'll probably do that mission car that's sitting there. Because I think we're somewhere around 10 minutes into the episode by now. Maybe a little bit more. It's really hard to tell because I didn't look at the time before I started, which was kind of dumb. All right, we need 2 brake discs ventilated, a caliper, and pads. That is a sharp-looking car, isn't it? I love that paint job. Very nice. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this and have it sitting here in our garage. That way, it's here already. So let's go and get what we need for this, and then we will go ahead and knock this one out. Shouldn't be all that hard. We need a caliper, we need 2 brake discs ventilated, and we need a set of pads. All right, let's go ahead and sell the old stuff so I don't confuse myself. You may laugh at that, honestly, but it is so easy to do. To be taking everything apart and look in your inventory and say, okay, well, yeah, this one was bad, so I got to replace it, but it actually wasn't because that was just an old one that you still had in your inventory. It's very easy to make that mistake. And then you got to end up ripping half the car apart again to fix it. All right, so the brake disc on this is shot. I don't know if the pads are okay or not, but definitely the brake disc is garbage. So we'll take the pads off, we'll take the brake disc ventilated off, and we will remount them. Yep, the brake disc was bad, so that's good. That's one down. Pads are fine. Put those back on, and the caliper was okay. So we'll put that back on. And then throw the wheel back on. And this tire is done. So we knocked out one of the brake disc ventilated that we needed to replace. One of the rotors. All right, let's go back around to this side here. The brake disc on this side looks like crap too. I'll be so happy when I can power up the unscrewing and make it way faster because this is so slow compared to what I had. All right, let's check this brake disc and see if it's bad. Certainly looked like it. Yep, that was bad too. So the brake discs are done. Now all we need is the set of pads and the caliper, which should both be on the rear tires. And then this job will be done and we can get it out of here and we can see what the customer wants for this mission car because I forgot to look. It shouldn't be anything too terrible yet because it's the first one. So it should be fairly easy. So we got caliper and pads left to replace. The caliper will be easy to tell. The pads are a little more difficult to tell. In real life, it's easy to tell if your pads are shot or not, but on the game, there's no real difference other than it looks kind of flaky on the outside. See how the paint is chipped on that? But those are still okay. I guarantee you those are fine. Nope, I was wrong. They're terrible. See, like I told you, it's very difficult to judge the brake pads on the game. Everything else is easy to judge, really, because it's really, really rusty. And if it's covered in rust completely and there's no metal showing through, you know it's bad. But with the brake pads, you don't have that. It's just kind of flaked a little bit. Like I've seen brake pads on the car we did before that looked worse than that were fine. They were still in the yellow, but that was in the red. So this caliper is shot. I can already see that through the tire. So we got to take this off and then remount the good one. And that will be now. See, look at that brake pad. That brake pad looks worse than the one I just took off that was red, and it's fine. See that? Look how badly that one's chipped. It's way worse. Makes no sense. Alright, that should be job done on this car. Check and make sure. Yep, everything is done. So let's get this out of the door. Make us about 350. And what do you want for this car, sir? You need a new air filter, all 4 tires replaced, and a fuel filter. Okay, that's easy. So let's start with the air filter. We'll go ahead and do that here. Don't even have to put that on the lift yet. Now this is a difficult job, believe it or not. It should be simple, but these clips are very difficult to get the little cursor to focus on so you can take them off. I'm making it look fairly easy because I've played this game a ton. But as you can see here, I'm having trouble getting it to stay on it so that I can take the damn thing off. There we go. Then you can take the cover off, pull the filter out. Then I got to go over to the computer and buy that. But let's go ahead and pull this fuel filter too while we're here. And we'll replace them both at the same time. And then all we'll have to do is put it on the lift and pull the tires off and replace them. The rims are fine. We don't have to replace those, but we have to replace all 4 tires. So we needed an air filter and a fuel filter. So let's go down here to the F's. There we go, fuel filter, buy one of those. I'm also looking forward to getting my little tablet back so that I can do the ordering without having to run all the way over to the computer. I can do it right from the car. I know that's a little thing, but believe me, it makes a difference. Alright, there's the new air filter in. Sit that down in there, and let's try to get these clips back on. You have this problem when you're working on the ignition distributor too, because it has little, on the distributor cap it has like little clips that you have to try to get on there. They're not as bad as this, but they can give you trouble sometimes. Alright, that is job done there. Everything is put in. So let's get this guy over on the lift so that we can pull these tires off. And then once we pull the tires off, we're going to have to take the tires off the rims, replace the tires, and put them back on the rims, and then balance them out, and then put them back on the car. Luckily, from the very beginning, we have that ability. We have those machines in the shop. I just noticed that I have to change the oil in this thing too. So I might as well go ahead and get that done while I have the car up in the air. Go ahead and drain the oil. Let's pull these tires off. And we'll get those over on the machine and get that started. It's so crazy because if you watch the other episodes I did, literally it was like, done. I mean, those screws came out so fast, and now it's like you got to sit here and just wait on them. It's like I'm doing them by hand. I need my air gun again. My air gun was nice. It was funny because I was talking to my wife last night. Because I play games all night and I record all night. And I was talking to her. She got up to go to the bathroom and she came in to say hi to me. And I was telling her that I was thinking about completely restarting this game so that I could do it on the channel, so that you guys could watch it. And I said, do you think that's a smart idea or not? And she said, well, it took you a long time to get built up to where you were. That was a lot of hours. She said, is the build-up going to be a pain in your butt, or is it something you're going to enjoy? And I said, well, I love playing this game. I play a lot of this game. And it's an enjoyable process getting to where I was. It's not like it sucks. And I said, I think that people would like to see it, so I think it would be all right. And she said, well, there you go. If you're going to enjoy doing it, then why not? You enjoy the build-up, so go for it. So I did. So that's what went into this decision. All right, so we got standard race tire Bs is what we got to do. But let's get rid of all of this crap so that I don't have a bunch of stuff in my inventory. All right, so it's standard tire B, 205 55 R16, it looks like. It's so hard for me to read what the tire is because it's so small. So let's go over here to the computer. And we have to get out of the parts section and go to the tire shop. It was standard tire B. And it was size 16. That's good. It was 205 the width. And 55 was the profile. And we need 4 of these bad boys. $872. Damn. A lot of money. A lot of money for tires. Alright, so now we have the new tires. We need to put them back on the rims first. See, the OCD part of my brain, this drives me crazy. Look at this beautiful shiny tire going on this rusty ass rim. There's just something wrong with that in my mind. I hate that. But it's a customer car, so I can't really give him all new rims because he will not want to pay for it. And I definitely can't afford to pay for it right now. I am very, very low on cash still. But that's what we're going to do. We are going to build up our money, and we're going to build up our shop, get new equipment, get ourselves in a very good position again to where we are rolling in dough, and we got plenty of space for everything. We got a paint room, we got all the testing, all that stuff. But we don't have any of it yet. Alright, so let's get this tire back off here. And I think that's all the tires. So let's go start putting them back on the car while we're balancing the tires. Because it takes quite a long time to balance the tires. So we'll go ahead and start putting these back on. We don't have to really worry about which one's going in the front, which one's going in the back, because they're all four the same. Sometimes you will have back tires that are larger than the front tires, and you always have to check that. You got to check the size and make sure they're all the same, because if they're not, you're going to end up in trouble. I've done that before where I put the tires on in the wrong places, and I've had to go back and take all the tires back off and figure out which ones went where. So always make sure that you know what size goes on the front, what size goes on the back. In this case, they're exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. But sometimes, especially when you're working on customer cars like this, sometimes they will be different. Alright, this should be the last tire here. Let's get that back on. And then we can lower this guy back down. And make sure that we have everything that we need done. Come on. Alright, let's check and make sure. We got to do the oil. I just remembered we got to put oil in this thing yet, because I drained the oil out of it. That'd have been a hell of a thing to give it back to the customer with no oil in it. He'd have seized the engine up. He'd have been pissed. I'd have had to fix that for free. That gets expensive working on engines. Alright, that should be about good. Let's shut her down. Put the hood down and make sure I got everything done. Yes and yes. Okay. We are making $2,351 is what we're charging him. So we made a pretty good amount of money. Made over $1,000 for that. So we are now over 7,000 and we have an upgrade point. Very cool. So I think I'm going to... Do I want to do better discount? Or do I want to do faster screwing and unscrewing? That would be nice. Alright, let's see what else we got here. We got to get rid of these tires that we're like making 13 bucks, 10 bucks, whatever. Let's open up this crate here. And let's see what we're going to have. Looks like we have an engine head cover, 2 engine head covers, and an exhaust pipe. So we're going to sell all of that off. Damn, that was $208 for that one. 691 bucks for that. Goodness gracious. 104 for that. Very nice. So now we're over $8,000, and we are level 3, which is cool. And let's go ahead and look real quick at the customer orders here and see what we got. We got bad steering, another brake job, and we have another mission car. Gear problems. Running gears. That's actually not that hard. That's just the flywheel and clutch plate and all that kind of stuff. So that's not going to be that bad. And it'll probably pay pretty well as well. We'll make a good amount of money off that job. So we got that one. Let's check and see what he needs. Oh my goodness. What is all of this? Wow, this is not what I thought it was. This is going to be a lot. All right, so let's get that there, and then we got another brake job. Let's go ahead and get the brake job in the shop as well. That's going to be a hard job that I took on there. I thought it was just going to be like a little bit of tranny work, you know, with like the clutch and that kind of thing. It wasn't going to be that bad. This one's not bad at all. But it turns out it's wheel hubs and all kinds of stuff. So that's going to be quite the adventure fixing this car. That's all the time we have for this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye. That is going to be a lot of work.